let's get started. I will send out the replay to you via email. So obviously all here, you got the link, which is great. If something happens to my internet, please hold tight because I live on Snow Isle and sometimes my internet signal is not the best. So I will go ahead and, like, if I have to launch into using my hotspot, I will. Okay. I'll just make sure everybody's muted before I get started. Okay, cool. I'm muting y'all, sorry, but we got to. Okie dokes, I'm going to share my screen with you and we will go ahead and get started. Please feel free, if anything comes up and you have a question or something, just to pop on and ask. I mean, it's pretty informal. Y'all know me, so I'm not worried about it being super formal. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so today we're going to talk about getting started with ChatGPT, and it's just an AI tool that can help support your business goals. At first, when I was introduced to ChatGPT, I was like, oh, what the hell is this? And like a little grumpy about it. And I'm gonna be honest, but after playing with it, I was like, people need to know about this. So I've been showing it to my clients and things like that. And I'm super, super interested and excited to see what you think. There will be a kind of a level 2 with some of the tools that I played with, and we can workshop with it a little bit next month. So y'all know me. Hi, I'm Sandy. I own and operate Think Bean, and there's a variety of things that my company does. I am an intuitive coach, I guess I'll call myself, where I help people figure out what they want to do and how to take that magic and actually make it actionable and take the impossible to possible. Y'all know me as the founder of St. Pete Girl Boss, and I'm also a veteran educator with a natural curiosity for all the things. You may not know is I've been published in a bunch of different places. I've lectured in a bunch of different places. So I love, love, love words and books and writing, and all of that stuff is just so fun to me. That's why this topic especially was something that I wanted to explore with all of you brilliant people. So let's hop into it. I'm going to put my timer on so I'll go over. Okay, so first of all, what is ChatGPT and how does it work? So ChatGPT was the first iteration of ChatGPT actually came around in 2018, but OpenAI specifically, they started building these kinds of things all the way back in 2015. They are a technology company that their mission is to develop artificial intelligence for the benefit of all mankind, is what they say. So this in particular, it's a large language model. Okay, so what they did is they took this neural network architecture and they combined it with natural language processing information. And then they taught this AI essentially by unleashing it with lots and lots of information, like unsupervised is what they called it, how to mimic what would be typical language patterns. And it's kind of taken more and more complexity and a larger neural network as the technology has grown. So I don't know if you've played with it at all, but it's the limitation of it is that it just tells you what comes next, like naturally what would come next. It's not always factually accurate, but it's pretty amazing. The most recent iteration they just put out was ChatGPT 4. It's not widely available yet, but the one that you'll be playing with is ChatGPT 3, which uses a model called DaVinci, and it is something like 1.73 billion pieces of information. It's pretty crazy that it takes to process all of this. So it's just meant to mimic human-like language. Specifically, ChatGPT is meant to mimic human-like language. So people can use it for such purposes like chatbots and things like that. So again, OpenAI research organization founded in 2015. Elon Musk was, I mean, say what you will about him, but he's on the cutting edge of different things. He was actually, and I don't know if he's still involved, but he was one of the original founders. So the first iteration was in 2018, and it's just gotten better, you know, as time has gone on. So this specific bot is designed to mimic things that you might find, like if you were using, for example, a chat bot on Facebook or on Instagram, things like that. It's meant to feel very natural. I'm going to show you another OpenAI tool called the Playground that uses, you can use DaVinci on the Playground, but you can do other stuff with it too. But you'll see kind of the difference in how it all kind of shakes out. So let me go to ChatGPT on my computer so you can kind of see it. So the ChatGPT interface, and I was playing with it. I'm like, ooh, what are we doing here? So the ChatGPT interface on your phone, if you have it up, it should look something similar to this, right? This is what your ChatGPT screen will look like. And you'll be typing things down here in this bar. There is another section that is web-based that's called the playground that we're going to be messing around with and looking at as well. It looks like this, right? So that is the history of ChatGPT. Just by dropping a 1 in the chat or a 2 in the chat, can you tell me if you've used it at all, if you've played with it? Drop a 1 in the chat if you've played with it a little bit. Drop a 2 if you have not, you've just heard about it and you just are curious about what all is going down with it. Okay, so y'all have played with it a little bit, it looks like. Never heard of it. Yay, Valerie, you're going to like it. It's kind of cool. Okay, cool. It does have limitations, not going to lie, but it's a great tool. I'm going to kind of leave it small so I can see, and you'll see like my notes and some things I pinched because I want to make sure I told you good information. Okay, so interacting with the technology, there are 2 ways that I use it and 2 ways that you can use it too. It's ChatGPT and then the OpenAI playground. So I'm actually going to show you the OpenAI playground first. And like it says here in my notes, it's a platform for exploring and playing with the capabilities. And ChatGPT is just designed for human-like text responses. So it doesn't have all of the functionality of the playground, but let me show you. So the playground looks like this. If you want to get to it, and I'll send a link to all of this in my follow-up email, but it's just OpenAI/playground, or you can Google OpenAI playground if you want to mess around with it. But you basically have this big box here that you can type whatever you want in. The difference really between the 2 that I've noticed is the playground will write longer text for you that seems to hang together a little bit better. So like Carlene, I know we were kind of playing around with it with the bios and stuff. The playground itself does a little bit of a better job making something that hangs together and makes a little bit more cohesive sense. So that's one of the things that I like. Now, the way that it's laid out, so if you look over here on the right, you can give it some parameters in terms of like how many words you want it to have. You can even ask it to use a specific model. So DaVinci 3 is the ChatGPT neural network that we think of as using ChatGPT, right? But you can use different types of language as well. I would just leave it at DaVinci 3 unless you're keen on playing around with it a little bit. The presets are actually really kind of neat. So let's say you have an article that's super complex. So like, I don't know, I'm just going to Google astrophysics real quick. I even spelled it wrong. Look at that. Okay, so let's go to astrophysics, and I'm going to go to this, okay, Scientific American article. And I am going to click this weird supernova remnant blows scientists' minds. Awesome. Okay, so let's assume that I have 0 knowledge about astrophysics, because I don't, I do. And then I'm going to copy this article. I could go into my playground right here, and I can paste this. I would load my preset, summarize for a 2nd grader. And I'm going to go ahead and say, summarize this for a 2nd grader. Because when you hit the preset, all it does is preload the prompt, right? When you tap this, it preloads the prompt above your text. Now notice how when I pasted it, it says advertisements. I'm going to take this out here. Then you hit submit. And allegedly, it will summarize any kind of complex text for a 2nd grader. If it stops in the middle of writing or responding, you can hit submit again and it will keep going. So basically what I just pasted, it says, scientists have discovered a very unusual supernova remnant from an explosion that happened 850 years ago. It looks like a big firework, and the star at the center is traveling faster than any other star ever seen. sweet. Like it's real simple, right? So that's something that you can do in the playground. If there's something that you don't have time to read, if there's something that you want to get the gist of prior to a presentation, or you want to just get, facts about something fast, very consumable, summarizing for a second grader is something that you can use here in the playground. So that's one thing that's kind of a neat thing to use. Another preset that I really like that you can use here in the playground is you can check these out. There's all these neat examples. You can have it correct grammar. So if there's something that you've written and you're not sure if it looks great, I would say I like Grammarly personally better, but it does do the same functionality. You can have it answer questions based on existing knowledge that's out there. I will tell you that ChatGPT's coding ended, I want to say in like 2020 or 2021. So the information that it interacted with is current up to that point. What else? You can have it come up with keywords from a block of text. This one's really neat. So what happens when you click this is it gives you the prompt, right? Which is extract keywords from this text. So if you want to use that prompt, you have to actually type it into Playground, or you can click open in Playground and notice how it puts it up here. Now, if I want to extract keywords from that same Scientific American article, I would just paste it there, hit submit, and it will give me keywords. Now, the power of keywords we're going to come back to when we talk about blogging, but I just wanted to show you some of the functionality of Playground. Okay, so those are some of the basics of what, bless you, Playground can do. So I really like using the Playground for if I need something a little bit longer. I do always edit it, but if you want something longer that makes a little more sense and isn't as repetitive, it's better than just the ChatGPT model. Something that's very, very sexy though, this is really fun. If you have voice memos or you have a video of yourself or whatever, it's a free transcription. See this little speech to text up here in the corner? You can tap that and you can drag a YouTube video in there. You can put in voice memos from your phone, any of that stuff, or you can record it right here and it will transcribe your audio right here in the Playground. And then you can even extract keywords from it. You can summarize that same text. There's a ton of stuff you could do with it. I see stuff popping up in the chat. Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy, right? It's pretty neat. So that's really nice if you have a lecture and you want to be able to repurpose some of the information, maybe for captions, for example, for social media. If you have a longer lecture and you want to be able to write blog posts about it, you can transcribe it and then paste it and ask for blog post samples based on that text, right? So it's really, really a powerful tool to be able to use. So that's the Playground. Those are the kind of things that I like. Grammar correction is super helpful. Again, you have Grammarly, which is useful, but this is here, it's free. It's really super useful. Okay, so ChatGPT is kind of the catch-all that people use for those OpenAI types of products. But understand, though, that the functionality of ChatGPT is specifically designed to sound conversational and kind of bite-sized, right? Now, you can have it mimic other tones and other styles, but you have to be specific with the parameters that you are looking for. So we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So ChatGPT, load it up on your phone, right? You'll get a screen that looks something like this. Now, right now, ChatGPT is free. I know that ChatGPT Plus does exist and it is a subscription-based service. There is another AI that I really like. I want to say it's called Jarvis or Javis or something. Hold on, Jarvis AI. That's really, really cool. Yeah, it is Jarvis or Jasper. Here it is. It does a really good job with copywriting. I think even beyond what I get from ChatGPT, but it's expensive. And really, if you have some knowledge about writing, using ChatGPT and just editing your stuff is perfectly fine. But there are other AI models that exist out there. This one's just getting a crap ton of attention because it's free, because it really is elegant the way that it turns out a lot of things. So that's kind of why the people are in love with it at this point. So once you are on the screen for ChatGPT, well, what can I do with it? Oh, I will tell you the things, friends. The three things that I like to use it for are, number one, asking for ideas. Number two, asking it to summarize or outline something for me. And it is really, really good at, if I can't think of like a snappy title or something like that, or I just really want to make sure that, you know, I'm varying my word choice or things like that with my wording, it's really good about that. Like reword this sentence and it will give me something different, right? So it's really kind of an incredible tool as far as that goes. So check this out. So pop into your ChatGPT and I'm just going to say, give me 3 blog post ideas for female entrepreneurs who are scaling their business. I forgot how to spell business. From 6 to 7 figures. Okay, let's see what happens. Sometimes it takes a minute, especially if the server is busy. So we will see if I get anything. If y'all get something sooner, pop in and ask. It's just a little slow, but it will give you specific ideas. It is absolutely incredible what it can turn out. I'm going to pop into the chat and see what's up. Those 3 things alone are awesome. Does it have a translate option? Debbie, it does. It does. We can look at that in a second. Okay, 5 key strategies for female entrepreneurs to scale their business from 6 to 7 figures. And then it gives you a little kind of tidbit on what it should be about, like what the post should actually focus on. Practical and actionable tips for female entrepreneurs who are looking to. So then if I'm like, well, what in the world does that mean? I can ask it specifically, what are a few tips? But I do want to caution you that it's not a Google search. It's not always going to give you accurate information. So you don't want to use it for something that you don't have any knowledge about yourself. I mean, even sometimes if you throw simple math down, it doesn't give you the correct answer. So it's limited in that respect. Now it has a lot of information, right? But you just can't always count on it for accuracy. So it's really a much more powerful tool for just coming up with ideas or kind of jog your brain or whatever. Like look at post number 2, the power of networking for female entrepreneurs. Oh, look at that. It's our wheelhouse. How to build connections and accelerate business growth. And then it kind of gives you a little idea. So it's really wonderful for coming up with specific ideas and then you can kind of go and run with it, which a lot of times is all we need to do, right? If you have writer's block, sometimes just churning out a draft of something is helpful. And then you can edit it for however you need. There's so much power, even if ChatGPT or Playground turns out like a super crappy draft of something that's a paragraph long, to nab that and then use it as a springboard for yourself. It's really helpful to be able to use. So here's 3 blog topics, right? Staying focused and productive while scaling your business. And it kind of gives you like advice from other female entrepreneurs on how to stay focused. It can cover topics such as delegation, time management, self-care. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I know that stuff. I can write about that, right? So it's pretty powerful in terms of being able to turn out stuff like that. I'm going to go see who needs to be. Let's mute y'all. Let me go to mute you. Okay, so next, asking for summaries or outlines. So let me show you this. So let's say I decide that, oh gosh, this really looks like a great blog topic. I am going to take this and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to outline a blog post in a casual and fun tone and style with the title, and I'm going to paste that title. And then it will provide me with an outline for my blog post, which is so helpful as well, because it'll break down, what should the paragraphs be about? What are the topics? So there's the title, staying focused and productive while scaling your business, tips from successful entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Oh, here, hang on, let me just.
Thank you. And the egg rolls were?
Somebody's having Chinese for lunch.
Thank you.
There we go, muted. Okay, cool. So, and it even gives you that language like, hey, but okay. Like, if I ever say, hey there, boss babes, I really think you should text me and be like, please, you need to stop drinking coffee. Like, oh my God. I know I can say bosses. I know I say boo, but really, I don't know I'd say that. So it gives you the casual language that you're looking for if you have a specific style and tone. The neat thing about that is sometimes the avatar that you're speaking to has a specific style and tone that is going to be more appealing. Or for example, maybe you're writing something that is a little bit more academic in nature, so you need it to have that kind of style and tone. Or perhaps, you know, it's for a chat bot and you want to have, because you can do auto responders in your Instagram and you can set them up with whatever you want them to say. So if you want it to sound a specific way, like it's conversational, or it sounds like it comes from a man or whatever, I don't know. All of this nuance is something that you can get your ChatGPT to turn out to you. So it's churning out an outline, right? It's got number one, create a routine that works for you. Number two, delegate and outsource. And then I can take all of this text and augment it with what I would like it to sound like. That sounds like me, right? So that's another really powerful tool. And then wording or title assistance is also very helpful. Now it's still generating my outline, so I'm going to have it stop generating. And I'm going to say, I need, or give me a series or 5 titles. Let's be specific. 5 titles for a class for women about spiritual growth through meditation. Just pulled that out of the air, but we'll see what it gives me. So if I'm trying to come up with class titles, also incidentally, the title of my class was ChatGPT. So that was obviously not written by ChatGPT because it was pretty boring. The Power of Meditation, A Journey of Spiritual Growth, Finding Inner Peace. I love all the colons, right? Like you gotta love a good subtitle. Awaken Your Spirit, a meditation class for women seeking spiritual growth. Transforming Your Mind and Spirit, a meditation journey for women. So it will give you, and you can like take little bits and pieces of all of those different titles and then use the ones that you like the most, which is pretty powerful. Siri answered you for my tell Elizabeth. Elizabeth, tell Siri I said hi. Now there's a difference between your Siris and your Alexas, because there's one right next to me. They get their information from Google, right? Whereas ChatGPT does not. It learned from what was around and what it was fed, and however the designers, the architectural structure designers, the NLP folks that helped design this, it gathers all that information at that time. But it's not an active Google search, right? So that's why you have to kind of check it for accuracy, right? Would you use Playground for sales page over ChatGPT? I mean, essentially it's churning out the same language. The only reason I like Playground is because it's longer and it kind of hangs together. So in that sense, yes, but you could also use ChatGPT like per section, right? Like I need a hero section for a sales page. I need, you know, depending on what you're looking for, because they each kind of have their own name, like those sections. So you can use either. I just think Playground is, I like the interface, but it's DaVinci 3. So what would I say is better, ChatGPT or Canva? ChatGPT, I would say. They are similar though, honestly. It's a similar interface. ChatGPT, I think, just has a larger database. It's like 1.73 billion bits of info or something like that. And I think that there's just more money and more research going into that product. I'm not positive actually what AI company is the driving force behind Canva Magic. I just, like when I compare the results, I'm interested though, if you pop in and give it the same prompt at what your data would be, but I personally like ChatGPT a lot. What else? Okay, so going back to my fancy slides. So how can this help you specifically with your marketing tasks? All right, so 2 marketing tasks that I recommend my clients use a lot, and they hate this one sometimes because they don't want to write, but blogging is a great one. Okay, oh, I forgot about this. So the benefits of ChatGPT, again, you can teach it to mimic a style and tone. And I think I talked about this on my reels too. Let's say that I'm going to go into, oh, I don't know if I have any essays I've written. Let me see. Y'all are going to see how messy my Google Drive is. So like, don't judge me, but y'all know how right-brained I am. So this will not shock the shit out of any of you. I guarantee it. I wrote a speech that I gave at the chamber. And what I'm going to do with it, watch this. Okay, so I am going to take the beginning of my speech, right? Because if you have a piece of text that you have written in your own voice, you can get it to mimic your style and tone. So it's kind of neat. So I'm going to copy this, right? Then I'm going to go into ChatGPT and I'm going to say, write a, I don't know, 500 word speech in the same style and tone as the following text with the title, How I Manifested My Dream Life. The reason I said that is because it doesn't have to be, anything fancy. So then I copy or I paste my essay or my speech, and that has to think about it because it's going to process this, right? So if you are writing a speech and you've already written one, you can give it a piece of a speech that you've written and ask it to mimic that style and tone, and it will. If you're writing an email, you can paste a section of an email you've written and it will mimic the style and tone of that email. So if you have the same genre of text that you've already written in your own voice that you want it to mimic, it can learn from that and start to mimic what you want it, what you want it to do. So it's pretty remarkable when you start to feed it those things, because it's good at imitation, right? If it's churning out something that's brand spanking new, that's where I'm noticing that the limitations can really come up, because I found that it just lacks the nuance of human language in a way, like imagination wise, like it just doesn't have that flair. I've also found that it's repetitive. If you're having it turn out something new, it'll like have the same sentence, but like plugging in synonyms and things like that. And it just is kind of sucky. So, and look, now it's using, interesting. It's using the actual like facts that I had in my speech and turning them out and changing them into manifesting the dream life. Like this is Journal of Occupational Environmental Medicine is something I cited. So it's very interesting how it's taking the same content, which is kind of cool because I know those facts are accurate because I researched them. So it's neat because you can teach it, what like to mimic your style and your tone. And then again, it gives you a great way to jog your brain. And if you want to pull keywords from something, because SEO is important even in your Instagram captions and with blogging especially. So with blogging, okay, so should you blog? If you hate writing, no, maybe you shouldn't. But if it's not so bad and it doesn't make you want to like throw yourself off a bridge or poke yourself in the face with a hot fork, you should consider it, because it does do some really good things for your brand recognition. It helps you build your brand because you are an expert on that brand, allegedly, and the more content you have on your website, the more that you share that out, the more that you link to that when you're building up your social equity, that builds out your expertise, right? So let's say, for example, you're a realtor. Then what you can do is blog about just short paragraph or two, specific commonly asked questions, right? And then if you're on Facebook in a forum, for example, or in a group, and somebody asks that same question, you can go ahead and just drop a link to your blog. People will go read it. It's driving traffic to your website. If you're incorporating specific keywords into your blog post, it's also going to boost your SEO in Google. And you can have ChatGPT or Playground generate lists of keywords. So if you're on the back end of your WordPress site, I don't know if you ever go in and play around back there, but I'll show you on the back end of St. Pete Girl Boss what this looks like. It's pretty cool because you can drop the keywords for the blog post into the, let me show you. It actually boosts your SEO twice. So you use your SEO. Let me go to my pages. This is the back end of the St. Pete Girl Boss website. I just want to show you, here's the blog, okay? And if you go onto your blog and you want to do a blog post, you can make sure you include the keywords in your excerpts too over here, right? And if you are commenting on other people's comments, again, going back to the keywords and putting them here, that is a bunch of different ways that, it can help boost those search results in Google. So blogs are pretty powerful for that kind of stuff. So in terms of ChatGPT, how can it help you? Well, it helps you because it's going to help you come up with topics for your blogs. You saw how I just had an outline happen. If you've written a blog, but you're nervous about it sounding good or whatever, it can proof it for you. I would use the Playground for that just because I feel like it's a stronger tool for proofing. You can ask it to pull keywords out of the blog post so that you can use them, in any places that you want to use for SEO. And then it does help you come up with content creation as well. Now, I mean, it's not really you can create an entire blog post with ChatGPT, 100%. It will write it for you. I will tell you though, that it's not going to be in your authentic voice, and that may detract from your authentic audience being attracted to your message. But if you are just like, I can't think of shit, like this is a whole problem, it is totally fine to get started and have it be the draft that you revise, especially if you're not a blogger and it's not a comfortable place for you. I think it's useful at that point. I admit it's a little scary, but it would save time and allow you to show up and create more. It is awesome. Have you noticed any plagiarism, other people posting the same content? It's always producing. So Carlene, I will say that colleges and high schools and stuff like that are now having to change their language around, like you're not allowed to use chatbots. It's a machine, right? So you may find that there's similar phrasing, similar structures and things like that. From what I've done and from what others have told me, when they run it through like no red ink or any kind of like plagiarism machine, it's not picking it up, but that's changing. There are, you can ask it specifically to turn out something that will not be detectable by an AI detector, and it tries, but let's remember, the more people that use it and the limitations that come upon it, the chances are fairly good that they'll come up with something at some point that will flag it as being generated by a chat bot. So I would say probably not, but not 100% no, because again, it's just noticing patterns and nuance in the language. So will you get something completely original? Probably, but again, nobody knows, right? It's still such a new technology. What else? Okay, so like we just talked about, there are shortcomings that exist. So really the ethical way to use it would be just to use it as a tool for to get your own imagination and memory going, to really get things, you know, churning out for you. It's really great too for like social media content creation ideas. So okay, so I like recommending blogs to my clients just to help build their brands and help position them socially as experts in their area that they're working, right? The other thing that everybody needs to do is social media, right? Whatever way makes you feel okay, right? If social media makes you want to throw up, then don't use it, but it's free advertising and you can create some significant social capital if you have a big presence on social media. I did it with St. Pete Girl Boss. It doesn't matter how many degrees I have, like people want to know me because of that, and then they understand everything else I bring to the table. So the same can happen for you if you are going into specific groups, or you're going on LinkedIn and you're, you know, putting out there your own original content and it's published on a blog, or you've built up a huge following. That gives you street cred that you then can leverage to get the kinds of clients that you're looking for, right? So so in terms of social media, if it's just another thing and you don't want to deal with it, well, guess what? ChatGPT and Playground are really great to be able to help with that. It's great for content ideas. We're going to play with it in a second. It's great for keywords because Instagram, it's the keywords in your captions, the keywords in your bio, all of that. That's how people find you now. You can still use a hashtag strategy and it's still a strong strategy, but using keywords is how people are going to be finding you when they're looking for things on Instagram. So you want to use those and continue to use those in your captions. You can use it for caption generation. You can ask for like 5 different calls to action and it will give you that language. You can ask it for hooks that would bring people in on a post about ChatGPT. It's pretty remarkable. So there's lots of things you can do. Like check this out. Let's say, I have a network error. I hope it doesn't stop. Or let's go to new chat. I'm going to ask for, let's say, give me 20 ideas for Reels posts geared towards a female millennial audience. That's D-male. I don't even know what that is. Female millennial audience. I forgot how to spell, you guys. What the hell's wrong with me today? It will know what I mean. Okay, for a female millennial audience regarding mental health, support, and education. Make the tone casual and the style simple and geared towards Instagram optimization. So you want to be as specific as possible, right? So that's going to take some time probably to churn out. Oh, no, it won't. Okay. And look, it even gave me some hashtags. Dealing with anxiety, try these 3 breathing exercises for instant calm. Why it's important to talk about mental health. Journaling your way to better mental health. How to create a positive morning routine. Dealing with burnout. Now, because I'm a trauma-informed coach and because I'm a trauma-informed educator, and because a lot of the things that I do with my coaching clients and in my group stuff deals with this, I don't need it to give me anything more than some titles, because then I can go in, I know exactly what I want to put in the reel. I know what I want the caption to be, all of that, right? And boom, this is 20 things. So if I'm posting 5 days a week on my on Facebook and Instagram, I've got a month's worth of content right here. It's done. And now I go in and create it, but I have titles, right? How to manage social media and protect your mental health. I may have to go in and research some of it or think about what I want to do. But again, it's given me all 20 ideas. And I'm like, okay, now I can go and create something with that. I draw you back to the idea of ethical usage, right? I personally want the content that I create to come from me, but I could Google ideas for content and get other lists and things like that from people all day long. And I will find stuff, but this is just a hell of a lot easier, you know? So this is something that you could do, especially if you're an expert in your field and you have an idea already of like, oh, I want to make sure that it's geared towards these people. I want to make sure it's in this tone. I want to make sure it surrounds this topic. The more specific you are because of your level of training and expertise, the better results you're going to get with ChatGPT. It's just kind of a sexy tool. And then I can take that entire thing, right? All of this, I can copy it and I can specifically ask it to, I'm just going to copy the first 11. Generate a keyword list given the following content. Paste it, done. And then it will generate a keyword list. So that way I can make sure I have those keywords showing up in my social media. And as far as this this type of content goes, I could even ask for it to generate blog posts that, you know, handle the same content if I'm doing it during mental health awareness month or whatever. So I've got self-care, mental health awareness, anxiety relief, breathing exercises, and the stigma, right? So it just gives me all that goodness. What else do I want to tell you? Prompting is key. Prompting is so key. You want to be as specific as possible with the prompting that you use. So for example, and you can write this down or you can write it in replay, but if you say like, write me a blog post, write me titles, write me calls to action, write me whatever, that is whatever style and tone. So if you know your style and tone, toss that out there. If you don't, you can copy and paste something you have written and ask it to identify the style and tone of that content, and it will give you those words, right? That is highlighting or featuring whatever characteristics. You can ask it to include specific terms. You can ask it to include quotes from, you know, an article that you pull in and paste at the bottom. You just want to be very specific and giving this tool the information it needs, because now you understand how it gets this information and exactly what the technology is designed to do, right? It's natural language processing over neural network architecture. So it just is taking that information and very quickly doing something with it and turning it out. So if you give it stuff that's uniquely yours or you're specific to exactly what you're looking for, you're going to be getting better results from your ChatGPT. So let's see, let's try this one. Go into your ChatGPT, you have it on your phone, I hope, and try this. Write 5, it doesn't have to be fun and engaging. It can be like sarcastic and frightening, like just play around with it. Write 5, make them email subject lines, right? That include something. So I'm going to say, I'm actually going to make it like angry and menacing. Write 5 angry and menacing email subject lines. What else did I say? I forgot now what I said. For a sale on vitamins geared towards perimenopausal women. And also, oh yeah, it will not churn out anything that it feels is biased or that it feels is dangerous. But the thing about that is it's not human, so it can't always make that judgment call. So you may end up churning out stuff that is unintentionally biased, unintentionally racist, unintentionally misogynistic, whatever, if you're just copying and pasting and not reading stuff. So don't do that. So I'm asking it to write 5 angry and menacing email subject lines for a sale on vitamins geared towards perimenopausal women, which is me. If you have some especially lovely email subject lines your ChatGPT has churned out, I would love for you to put them in the chat that you enjoy. Email subject lines are hard for me for some reason. Don't miss out on our vitamin sale unless you want to feel terrible during perimenopause. That's a shitty subject line. Are you ignoring your health during perimenopause? Our vitamins can help you if you're not scared to try. I don't know how angry and menacing this is. Last chance to buy our vitamins before you let perimenopause win. Well, that's not bad. Your perimenopause symptoms won't go away on their own. Take advantage of our vitamin sale. Wake up and take control of your health. Damn you. So anyway, it will also churn out email subject lines that are kind of fun, or suffer the consequences. It's like threatening you. Oh, that's funny. So you again want to be really specific. So write me whatever text that is this specific style and tone, highlighting or featuring whatever, and include these things. So it's important that when you are giving, oh, here, I'll go on with the slides so you don't have to see those little like wording. It's important that you're very specific, and it is important that you are consistent, and then ethically you want to be ready to edit your content. It's a great tool for giving you, again, keywords, summaries, ideas, those sorts of things. You can have it churn out content, but I caution you, and I think revision of that content is always necessary. I understand that I have a master's degree in creative writing, so perhaps I am biased, but I think that your authentic voice is the most powerful marketing tool that you have. Thank you, Carlene. Okay, so it is now time for us to end our session together. If you have questions, you can email me, sandy@stpeakgirlboss.com. Most of you have my phone number. You can text me. You can also visit my website at think-bean.com. If you are interested in anything further, one-on-one coaching, any of my group coaching products, or just like to hang out with me, please, please do reach out. Does anybody have any comments or anything? I'm going to stop sharing now and stop recording. Anybody have comments, questions, anything like that? Please drop a 1 in the chat if you learned something new, a 2 if you're coming to our next study snack, which is next week. And if you have any reviews or feedback, I would love it if you would leave it on my business or personal page. Y'all are wonderful. I appreciate you coming for study snacks. I want to honor your time. Yay, I'm so glad it was awesome. So fun to play, right? I love all of you so much. Please text me if you need anything. Now you have 15 more minutes before your lunch hour is technically up, so you can play around with ChatGPT and let me know what you come up with. Shoot me an email.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah. What's up, Deb?
How do we get it to do the translate thing?
Oh, here, I will. You know what? I'll hop in if you want to see. You can just ask it, translate blah, blah, blah from this to this. If you want a whole thing. Now, I like Google Translate, to be honest with you, though. And then you have to, though, with it, you have to toggle back and forth. Because I have some close friends that speak Spanish, and sometimes they need to express themselves in their native language. So if we're corresponding back and forth, I always use Google Translate, but ChatGPT you just have to ask it, translate XYZ to this language. It works best for shorter pieces of text that I've noticed, because it's not necessarily a language. It doesn't have the nuance always in every language, but from Spanish to English, it's pretty decent. Cindy, I will send it out to you via email. I'm going to actually put it on my YouTube and send you the link in a Flowdesk email, and then you will have it. Perfect. You are very welcome. All right, everyone, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Gotta end meeting.